All right, everybody. Welcome to today's stream at Apple Media. I was going to share the original from Amagansett Press, but I figured I would go to another source so I wouldn't hear any backlash or get any backlash from it. But it is what it is. And so the stream here is going to point out that these First Amendment auditors who run around the country instigating and then antagonizing and basically looking for a fight so they could use pepper spray on other people and then claim self-defense. This is a, I would refer to as an epidemic of sorts. Speaking of, YouTubers pepper spraying people, I'll get to this video in a second, but I wanted to mention that next Monday on the 3rd, local Michigan YouTuber Ian Pfister from Welcome to This World Media will be in the circuit court in St. Clair County to learn his fate for his decision to pepper spray a store owner outside of a meat market in Marine City, Michigan, and then attempt to claim self-defense. Well, that didn't work too well for him, and he will be going to prison for probably a lengthy period of time because he is a lifelong criminal and has multiple felonies along with many misdemeanors. And the prosecutor gave him the habitual enhancement on his charges for the pepper spraying of the store owner. And Ian and his overblown ego, along with his half, nitwit, well, not half, they're complete nitwit viewers who seem to believe that it's okay to pepper spray people, and they misinterpret the self-defense laws in this country, whether it's here in Michigan or in Colorado or Arizona. And this isn't something that's new. So anyways, stay tuned for that update on Monday. I will be attending the sentencing hearing of Ian Pfister and bringing you the results of his punishment immediately after the hearing concludes. And ironically enough, I've tried to comment over on his channel to ask him if he would be willing to have a conversation about his wise decision to take it to trial instead of sucking up and taking the loss and accepting a plea bargain. But hey, when your ego interferes with your rational thought processes, the end result is you being found guilty by a jury of your peers and facing multiple years in prison because you need YouTube content because you don't have anything to actually speak about. So nonetheless, let's move forward. I'm one of the most hated guys on YouTube because I point these things out and I expose, I guess you could say, the right and the wrong, to steal a quote from Audit to Audit, the rights and the wrong of those who are on YouTube conducting themselves in the manner that they do. And I am probably the foremost expert in YouTube fucktards playing games with people in real life. I know it's not the drama that many of you are used to, the panel curse nonsense, the insane collective of people that gather in live streams to hear each other circle jerk off, this person or that person. When you come to my channel, you get the truth. You get my hard, cold opinion that most people don't like, because for some reason, I'm going to skate around the reason, but for some reason, people are delusional in their belief that the actions of some people are justified when in fact they are completely unjustified. And here in this video, I will show how Amagansett Press may be on the winning end, I guess you could say, in this situation for the moment. But there may come a time in this unfortunate encounter where he and his wife have the tables turned upon them once the evidence and the information is made readily available to the prosecutor's office. And until that happens, they can continue to run around the country pretending to be a travel channel, window shop around town, record people in their private capacity, even though they're in public, and they legally, constitutionally have the right to do it. But they are slowly, these YouTubers are slowly eroding the First Amendment a little piece at a time. And Ian Pfister from Welcome to This World Media is a prime example of how the First Amendment clause that they believe they can hide behind becomes a weapon against them. And then when it becomes a weapon used against them, it's going to become a weapon used against you, your neighbor, and your friends and people on the street, because they're building a precedent behind these nitwit YouTubers who run around the country pepper spraying people. There's multiple channels that have done this. They have evolved. Amagansett Press, for an example, if any of you are familiar with his work, he began his YouTube career with the majority of his content coming from your local post office, while he goes inside the post office and records people conducting their daily business. It would, create, a police call, and, the police would show up. You'd have an argument with, someone who didn't like to be recorded, and it's my rights, and I can do it, and you don't like it, piss off. And Amagansett, his name is Jason Gutterman. I call him Jason Gutter Trashman, and he claims it's his son, Benjamin, run around the country, and apparently his wife has joined the team, and they just, Jason Gutter Trashman, seems to believe that he can provoke and instigate situations and then react in a manner that is essentially criminal, whether he realizes it or not. And people say, "Oh, well, you're an asshole. You don't support the First Amendment." Oh, I support the First Amendment wholeheartedly in the context that it was designed, with the elements that are, ascribed to the First Amendment. I don't believe that there's, any justification to hide behind the First Amendment to go and harass your fellow citizens under the pretense of teaching them the United States Constitution one amendment at a time. I believe it's cowardly, it's chicken shit, and if you had any hair on your ass, you would get back to recording law enforcement and government. But those encounters don't normally turn out too well for these guys. That's why they've changed course and started harassing the public, because it's easy pickings, it's easy prey. And so the fact that these guys do this shit shows their true character. And then, for an example, when you dish out to them what they give to others, they don't like it too well. rewinding a little back when Ian Pfister from Welcome to This World Media was originally charged and he was appearing in court. I appeared and I showed up with my camera to record him and his trashy wife, girlfriend, whoever she is, Pamela, is known as Pam Cam. I went there to give them a little taste of their own medicine, and you can guarantee that they did not like that one bit. They called me names, they mocked me, insulted me because I was recording them in public. They didn't like it, which is extremely ironic. So I would love to be able to know where these YouTubers are going to appear, where Amagansett is going to show up next. If anybody knew, and if Amagansett Press had a hair on his vagina, he would reach out to me and tell me, I'm going to be in this town or that town and this town, and this is my schedule. And he would welcome me to come to his town to refute their public recordings and to give him a little bit of smoke that he is looking for. Because I can guarantee you, little garden gnome, as some people refer to him, he would definitely regret ever pulling his pepper spray out and squirting me with that, because that doesn't make me run away. That makes me very, very angry. So if anybody out there who lives in a small town and they see this clown running around, or any one of these clowns, Liberty Troll, or the clowns out there in Impact Media that are in California, if I could get somebody to relay the information to me of where these people are at, and I could get there and appear where they were at, I would do it in an instant. And I would give them a little taste of their own medicine. And if they didn't like it and they reacted to me like they react to these other people, you can guarantee I will be defending myself. And they will not be very happy. I'm no Billy Badass, but I can handle my own, and I can guarantee you Jason Gutter Trashman would regret his actions with me. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. These guys, one day, are going to find, or stumble upon, or encounter an individual who is going to take matters into their own hands. And they are going to regret it. Not just somebody like me in front of them, but it would be somebody like me in front of them. And I'm waiting for that day to occur. So, without further ado, let's go through this video. And thankfully, my good friend John Falax down there in Zephyr Hills, Florida, who I've met in person. And once we've met, he decided to start attacking me and saying some pretty nasty things about me, insulting me, which is, typical of a low IQ, grifter who expects his poor little hardworking wife to support him as a grown-ass man. And clearly his wife gave him enough money, or gave him an allowance, so he would go out and buy a handgun and carry it around to protect himself from literally me, because I told him I was going to come and knock on his door and see what he had to say about me in person. And he takes that as a threat and claims that he's going to stand his ground and shoot me when he sees me. And well, I carry myself, and I told him, well, you better be quick on the draw, because you pull that gun out and you're going to regret it. But nonetheless, this is the type of content that this channel has evolved or devolved to, I guess you could say. I have plenty of original content of my own that I haven't even bothered with sharing with anybody because I'm completely shadow banned and have been for many years now. I've lost the desire and the drive to be on here every day making videos and sharing stuff because what's the point? Sometimes I just say, what's the point? Every now and again, I find some video that I feel the need to showcase and I talk about it and bring it to the attention of the people to get their opinion of the instant these events occur. This couple right here that you see in the video were parked on a corner in Idaho Springs, Colorado, grabbing dinner or whatever they were doing, and somebody had parked behind them so close that they couldn't get out. And Jason, gutter trashman, and his wife and his so-called kid, I think it's not really his kid, but I could be wrong. Looks like that there's watched King of the Hill and John Redcorn knocked up Dale Dribble's old lady, and Dale Dribble thinks that his kid or John Redcorn's kid is his kid because it looks nothing like Dale Dribble. Well, this is kind of the same scenario if you ask me. Benjamin kind of looks like John Redcorn's son. Even though his wife is of Mexican descent, it could possibly be his kid. I digress, but I'd be a betting man to say that it's John Redcorn's kid, but who am I? So let's see the video here, and let me go over to the chat section over here and see what's happening. Welcome to the stream, Ooter Katie. USA hates FAPA. I believe that would be Dr. Dave. What's happening? And we got the old Tony running with scissors. We got Lynette. Thanks for coming in, ladies. Appreciate you guys with the wrench. You're always here. I can't thank you all enough. Sean Barnett, welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you before. And we got Data Class, who's a Jason Gutterman fan club member, which is fine with me. If that's what you are, good for you. Jason and his poor incel virgin son. His real name was Mark Jason Gutterman. Oh, so he lies to the police and he uses his middle name as his first name. I'll have to make note of that. Thank you, Dr. Dave. Jason hasn't done a time and temperature check in a while, and what's up with that? Well, a lot of these guys, they stopped doing their live streams because people like me who said, I'll show up in your live stream. So they kind of stopped doing live streams because people show up, right? And have you ever gooned to Amagansett though? I don't know what that means. I'm not cool internet. I don't use the words that you guys use on the internet. That I'm not going to get an urban slang dictionary to decipher your language. So if you can't speak in English for us lames who are in the Generation X, genre, then you're not going to get an answer out of me. So, you got an instant subscribe. I appreciate that too. And Chicken Little said so. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, all right. I thought you were Dr. Dave, but okay. USA hates FAPA. All right. Well, I appreciate you. I don't want you to be a fan. I want you to be a supporter. Fans are, it's not, that doesn't apply to me, but thanks. You can be a supporter, but that's cool. I will definitely have time to report the Welcome to This World media sentencing. I will be there on Monday. It's at 1:30 in the afternoon. and I will go live immediately after and share the results. And as much as I hate to see somebody get locked up, when you go out of your way to push people's buttons and you start shit and you allow your ego to override your rational thought processes and you essentially write a check that your ass can't cash, you kind of deserve what you get. And I don't feel sorry for the guy at all, especially when he did nothing but try to bash me. He shared another content creator named Bad Apple Audits, who did an audit in his city, which is Hazel Park, Michigan. And he tried to make it appear as if that was me, and he was claiming that I'm a failed auditor. And I had to break the video down on a live stream and point out to that nitwit Ian Pfister that he was sharing a video and making it appear that I was the one who was in the video creating it. And I'm like, dude, it's not me. I stopped the video where you could see it was some dude with long hair. It wasn't me. And I'm like, you're an idiot, and you're grasping at straws trying to make me look bad when, in fact, you're the bad apple. And so, hence why I named my channel Bad Apple Media, because these bad apples out here need to be exposed. And so, all right, me, we talked about Liberty Patrol, there you go. Now he's Clay John Riddle. Okay, all right, okay. You probably sent me the email, with some information, and I appreciate that. And so, I yammer on a lot, and I apologize for that. It's part of my nature. I talk. You talk too much. You never shut up. Here, that's me. So, this video is fairly short compared to the original that Amagansett Press put on. And I would have shared Amagansett Press's video, but I don't really care because it's, it's protected under fair use. I'm not playing it outright. I'd be stopping it and placing some commentary in it and whatnot. But when I share the videos of these individuals and I don't portray them in a favorable light that rubs their little vagina lips the wrong way, so they get upset and they'll probably try to copy strike me, which, is a typical cowardly move for somebody in the First Amendment community, right? You would think that somebody who wholeheartedly supports the First Amendment, you wouldn't have an issue with somebody using their First Amendment to share your video under, the investigative journalism moniker that I am. I am an investigative journalist. I'm not on, some great big national news channel. I'm very good at investigating people and digging up dirt on them and exposing the truth behind what they are and what they do. So, yeah, I'm an investigative journalist. Nonetheless, and the two people in this video right here, this woman and this guy, she is sort of Pam Cammy. She's got a real trashy, provocative mouth. She likes to flap her Peter Puffer as if she's tough. I don't understand how people could be the way they are. You could just say, hey, you know what? Could you please move your vehicle? I need to get out, and just leave it at that. And if the person gives you a hard way, I go, okay, yeah, you can respond. But to be rude and obnoxious in the beginning, right off the rip, says a lot about you. They're probably from California, who moved to Colorado, and no offense to those of you in California, but they're probably not originals from that area, because it's, I guess, a tourist town. I spoke to a couple of store owners and employees in the area on this street, and they are not happy with what Jason Gutter Trashman did. Okay, what was his name? Let's go back here. I have to write it down. What's his name? My bad. Where did it go? Where it is up here somewhere? Did you remove it? Where did it go? Am I blind? Did you take that down? USA hates F. Somebody take it down? Oh, Mark. Yeah, let me write that down real quick before I forget, because I might need that in my search to find him at some point in my background check. So let me put that down in my little book of names before I miss out. I got a YouTuber book. And let me put it down here. Mark Jason. That's Amagansett also. Matter of fact, I have a friend of mine who knows him personally from high school. And that's how I found his channel years ago. This chick goes, "You ever hear of Amagansett Press?" And I'm like, "No," and she turned me on to it. And so, anywho, yes, Mark Jason Kevin, I wrote that down. Thank you. So, John Fallax is delusional like the rest of these people out here. Me and John Fallax have, I guess, an ongoing beef. More or less, he's beefing with me because I think that he's a coward to the point where he doesn't want to accept the reality of we were all deceived in our citizenship status and in our 14th Amendment, which is a whole nother story for another day. And I believe wholeheartedly that in correcting your status and becoming sovereign and removing yourself from the federal citizenship side and just, yeah, I'm not going to get into it. And I tried explaining this position to Johnny Boy Fallax, John Georgie Fallax, and he is totally against it, even though he believes many of the things that a sovereign is in support of. John Georgie Fallax believes in the same thing. He just can't accept or support the idea of not being a slave. And I hate to keep running my mouth and going on and on and on, but you know, it sometimes happens that way here on Bad Apple Media. John Fallax was crying a while back that his channel was demonetized because of some people in Boston who filed complaints on him or reported him, and his channel was demonetized and yada yada yada. And I was telling him that he should probably get out there in the mean streets of Tampa Bay and start creating his own content again, instead of sharing other people's videos, expecting himself to be put in the position of a great First Amendment auditor. And so with my encouragement, I'm fairly certain with my encouragement, Johnny Fallax boy decided to get back out there and record in the streets. And one night he and Chuck Bronson and a couple of others decided to record a checkpoint for drunk driving in Florida. And Fallax is a big promoter and pushes these little mini flashlights that are very bright, these LED high lumens, 10,000 lumen little mini flashlights. And he was sharing or shining it at a cop while he was at this checkpoint, and the cop told him to stop doing it. And Johnny Boy had to push the envelope, and he did it again, and he got arrested. And what do you think Johnny Boy did? He took a plea. Big bad hero, First Amendment auditor, didn't have no money to bond out, didn't have no money for a lawyer, whining and crying on his live stream that he went to jail, blah, 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 blah. Well, I could tell you more about that incident and how I involved myself, and I blocked the bail bondsman from coming and helping him out because I called the bondsman and talked to her and told her what was up, and she was like, "Oh, I'm not going to help him out." And so, yeah, John Boy doesn't quite like me too much, but ask me if I give a fuck. So, again, without any more delay, on top of the delay, let's get to the video. And we'll watch Amagansett do his little self-defense mode and his aggressive little garden gnome behavior.
Before he's like, okay, maybe all these guys had a point. Anyway, here's a video from Amagansett Press. These people can't get out of their parking spot because some foreigner decided to park in a no parking space, leaving them no room to get out. Amagansett pointed out to them who the guy was. And then some other couple decided to get involved and started blocking his way on the sidewalk because the husband was trying to white knight his wife. Start blocking Jason's way. Jason started walking ahead anyway. Next thing you know, there's a fight. So that's this video. Let's watch.
No, so that way, yeah, he shouldn't have parked there. He's been in there half an hour. I thought it was like some 1 minute thing.
You're not on that? Come on, you're not.
I want to get this.
Oh, so they bumped. This is the car that's blocking. It's not in a parking space, and they bumped it with their bumper, and now they're looking for the guy so he can move his car so he can get out.
Hi, I'm Ron
good
Reagan,
Lord, I
an
gotta,
unabashed atheist, and I'm alarmed,
to,
as you may be, by the intrusions of religion.
Commercial free shit.
No, they're inside.
This is...
And they
Here, I gotta show you
with their
something
bumper,
real quick.
and now they're looking for the guy so he can move his car so he can get out.
This right here is Jason Gutter Trashman's wife. This is her.
No, they're inside.
It's really cute. What kind of car is that?
Oh, it's this guy right here.
Hey, yeah, that's not a spot, dude. We can't get out.
So he's sitting here with a woman with a hijab. They're clearly not, American as you would believe they are. They are from other countries. You'll hear in a second.
You're ready. Yeah, you should have got a ticket for that. That's not even a parking spot. That says no parking.
You see the yellow line on? See the yellow line on the ground?
2 lines. You got to have 2 lines in America. I know. There's not.
Got to have 2 lines in America. Like, she's already being very condescending to the guy. She noticed that he was sitting there with a woman with a hijab, and she, in her racist, mentality, already started. In America, we do things different in America. I'm not a racist. I believe everybody should assimilate, but calm down, lady. It's not that big of a deal. Just ask him to move. You don't have to be a fucking smart ass.
We're leaving, bud.
Just move the car so we can get out. What are you going to trap me here?
What, are you going to trap me here? How about you just shut your mouth, get in the truck, and let him move?
Get in the car and move, dude.
Look at her. Look how tough she thinks she is.
Dude, I get that you're a foreigner, dude.
Even Falax is... John Falax, you're a fucking Greek. Your father speaks broken English, and it hasn't completely, fully assimilated in this country. Neither has your mother. And you have the nerve to attack this man because he's a foreigner. Shame on you, John Georgie Falax, Mr. Greeks man.
It says no parking. There's no parking space there.
Jesus Christ, man.
You're literally hindering these people's ability to leave, and you have an attitude?
Has this guy presented any sort of attitude? He probably doesn't understand their complete, demeanor right now. He's like, what are you talking about? Hey, I thought I was okay to park here.
Like, yo, hello?
Wow, really? You're not going to move? No, move.
He's simply saying, hey, calm down a little bit. He's got a T-shirt. He's promoting Colorado. He's trying to enjoy the day with his family. Look at little Redcorn Jr. over here. John Redcorn Jr. Look at him. Tell me that doesn't look like Redcorn Jr. John Redcorn Jr. Look at him. Look at him giddy like a little schoolgirl, smiling from ear to ear, knowing my dad's about to pepper spray somebody.
Why you take it this way?
Let's come down.
Why you talking this way?
Look at
Asian?
Flaxy over here making fun of the guy's accent.
Isn't that an Asian accent?
No, it's Middle Eastern, you dickhead. John Flax, you're a dickhead, bro.
This way. You respect me when I puck wrong and block you in. I'm white Asian.
John Redcorn Jr. over here looks more Asian than this guy, Flax. Get a fucking grip, dude.
I don't get it. Was that not Asian? Hold on.
Get in the car and move, dude.
Wow, really? You're not going to move? No, move.
Hey, listen to Jason interjecting. Oh, wow, you're not going to move? The guy didn't say he wasn't going to move. He's simply telling him, yeah, calm down a little bit. Calm down.
Move.
Sorry.
Relax, I'm moving
I'm not.
in.
Okay, then dude. Quit talking to me and get in.
Why you take it this way?
And he said, why you talk to me this way?
Down.
Why you talking this way? Why you talking this way?
Because you're obnoxious. Bro, you see the yellow line?
There's
Call the police.
No
Don't
parking.
touch me.
I don't call police.
Call the police.
I don't call police.
I don't care. I came
You know,
Did you just hear that Jason Gutterman say, I don't call the police? Give it 5 minutes. He's on the phone with the police.
I don't care. What a piece of shit.
Hey.
That's
hey,
unbelievable.
Look at him
No, that's
calling this guy a
unbelievable.
piece of shit, instigating with an incident that has nothing to do with him. Talking about somebody sticking their fucking nose in business that doesn't belong to them. That would be you, Jason Gutter Trash Man.
You don't care. How do you stand there and say that? You're obnoxious. I don't even care what you say.
He's telling this guy that he's obnoxious. I'm pretty certain that Jason Gutter Trashman is the obnoxious one here. It sure sounds like that to me.
Car.
Yeah, get in your car.
I can't move the car, but I'm not moving it, see? It's double mind, Jedi mind trick. Asian Jedi mind trick.
Or
You're
move it.
moving it, and
Yeah.
you guys need to
And you
calm
just-
So
down.
now this lady got offended because he said, what a piece of S. So she got offended, so now she's sticking her nose in it. And then because she's offended, she thinks she can impede somebody's freedom and falsely imprison them on the sidewalk.
Adam, you need to
Falsely
stand.
impede them and falsely imprison them on the sidewalk. Hey, John Flax, do you smoke crack when you're in your garage making coin rings? Or is it meth that you're consuming? I'm curious. Do you not bother looking up if this was a violation of law? Or are you just assuming that this is some sort of crime for them to stand there to talk about this? If she's committing a crime, then Jason Gutter Trashman is committing a crime. Oh, but when you're sucking Gutterman's balls like John Flax is doing because he wants to suck subs so he can build his channel, he's going to take sides of the Gutter Trashman.
Mind your business.
You're being
Mind your
fucking
business.
You know who needs to mind their business? It's you, Jason Gutter Trashman.
assholes.
Fuck yourself.
No, thank you. We didn't. I don't
You
care.
have no other choice,
I
so
don't
you might as
care
well.
what your video
Yeah,
is.
okay.
As I try to walk away, she steps back to block me.
You need to get.
Get out of my
See,
way.
this is what morons don't understand.
And John Flax, you are a moron, so let's hear what people like you don't understand.
They like to run their mouth. They want to be control freaks.
Oh, does anybody see Jason Gutterman running his mouth trying to be a control freak? Or is this am I wrong here?
But they don't understand that once they get physical, the gloves come off, you morons.
Nobody here gets physical, but Mark Jason Gutter Trashman.
That goes for cops and anybody else. Period.
That goes for cops, anybody else, period. Listen to Flax starting to get all fucking, his blood pressure rising.
Period.
Oh, I knocked you out of my way. Get out of my way.
Sir, you are being
Get
out
out
of
of my way.
control.
She's got a dog on a leash, and you think maybe the dog is kind of leading her in a direction that she wasn't intending to go to, like maybe pulling her backwards. It's a pretty big German Shepherd. So did she intentionally walk in Jason Gutter Trashman's way? I don't think so. And even if she did, he's a grown-ass man, and there's plenty of room on the sidewalk to walk around.
Now I'm out of
Let's
control.
go. Let's go.
Try to block my path, I'm going to move you.
Go.
Did you hear that? His veiled threat. You try to block my path, I'm going to move you. Now, her husband is standing here. What do you think any real man would do when another man basically threatens your wife?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what?
I said if you try to block my path, I'm going to fucking move you.
I said you're going to block my path, I'm going to fucking move you. Only one here who's aggressive and threatening and intimidating is Jason Gutter Trashman right now. This guy is reacting to what he said about harming, hurting, moving, assaulting his wife.
Is that right?
That's right.
That's right. That's so right. You're gonna move this person right here. This one that actually had the nerve to say "I do" to me. Is that right? Yeah.
She didn't say she was going to do anything to Jason Gutterman. I think, Flax, you're delusional, dude. You're just as delusional as the people in his comment section, but even worse because you have a voice that you go on YouTube and push your garbage onto people, brainwashing them with what you think occurred, which is the total opposite of the video that you're about to see.
That's right, dude. You don't get to block people's path. You don't get to touch people.
You're absolutely right. You don't get to touch people. This guy doesn't touch nobody. You're absolutely right, John Flax. You don't get to touch people. And you're not referring that to Jason Gutterman, but you probably should be.
Get to touch their camera. You don't get to get in their personal space. I don't care if you don't like all.
Yes, you absolutely don't get into people's personal space like Jason Gutterman does to this man.
Auditors. Those are the rules. If you don't like
The rules, those are the rules. Maybe you should base your opinion off of law, Johnny boy.
auditors, your options are keep walking, use your free speech, record them back, or go after your mother. Those are your options. You don't get to get physical. You don't get to block people.
Yep, you do not get to become physical. You should be sharing your opinion with your boy, Jason Gutterman. You should be.
To imprison people, you don't get to touch people.
Nobody's being imprisoned. There's plenty of fucking room everywhere. He doesn't have to go nowhere. He injected himself into this, just like this guy and this wife sort of injected themselves into it. So they're both, at this point, just as guilty as the other one for injecting themselves in somebody else's business. However, this woman was doing it to try to de-escalate Jason Gutter Trashman's abusive speech towards the guy who parked in the wrong spot. Jason didn't like her checking him. His ego is very fragile and it has cracks in it.
And I don't care if you get baited or not. If you get baited, then you're a beta.
Just like you, Flax, you're a beta. I've baited you multiple times.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that? How about that? Cash me outside. How about that?
What do you got?
Have a dog. You're gonna move this.
Look at the look on this stupid lady's face.
Yeah, she was just threatened that I'm going to push through you. So she's standing there, standing her ground on a sidewalk, giving big tough guy Jason Gutterman the opportunity to push through her as he just claimed he was going to do. And she's standing there challenging him, which is her right to do.
Look at the look on this stupid lady's face right here.
I don't think that she's a stupid lady. I think she's got a little more balls than you do, Flax boy. Metaphorically speaking, you know, you probably got a vagina and you sit in the pee like she does.
If she doesn't get the fuck out of my way, I'm gonna move both.
If she doesn't get the fuck out of my way, I'm going to push through you. That's what he just said again.
If she doesn't get the fuck out of my way, I'm
She is
gonna move both of
my
you.
wife.
If she doesn't get the fuck out of my way, I'm going to move both of you. And he says, she's my wife. You know, you shouldn't talk to my wife that way. And what does your gutter boy say?
Shit, who she is?
Control this
I
human.
don't care who she is.
Let's call the
Did you just see that? Look who just zipped through the fucking camera there.
Call the police.
Look who just
Call the
comes
police.
through.
Let's
Take
go.
your shit and go
Let's
home.
go.
Take
Hold
your
on.
shit and
Let
go
me
home.
rewind it again.
This
I
human.
don't care who she is.
Let's call the
Hold on, I
police.
just missed
Call
it.
the
I
police.
don't give a shit who she is.
Control this
I don't
human.
care who.
Look at it. Look at this little fucking kind of looks like a soy boy, like he might be a girl, like they're transitioning him or something. But look at him. Look at the grin on his face that he knows my dad is going to pepper spray this guy and I got to get it home film so we can make enough money on our YouTube channel to go to the next town and harass poor people. Look at this fucking look on this little girl's face. That's, to me, that's pretty fucked up, man. It's fucked up. It really does. What's up, Venus? Sharky Wit, what's going on here? Paul and Nitz is in the house. Frauditor Troll Slayer. Sorry, guys, I haven't been looking at chat. I can't do it while I'm sharing the video and trying to click it, pause, and all that. So, but yeah, look at this little John Redcorn Jr. Look at his face.
Let's call the police.
What do you think? I'm afraid of you, bro?
Call the police.
And Jason says, "Well, you think I'm afraid of you, bro?" This guy hasn't threatened, hasn't said he's going to push through you. He hasn't used a cuss word. He hasn't used any angry vocabulary. He hasn't done anything. And the guy in the background, he's moving his car. He's backing his car up and getting out of the way.
Let's
Take
go.
your shit and go home.
Let's go.
Take your shit and go home.
Listen to Jason. Take your shit and go home. Like he's some sort of tough guy. Telling this man that he's going to push through his wife, take your shit and go home. And just because he posts this in his video, you guys are supposed to believe it,
I will
right?
fucking.
And listen to what he says right here. Take your shit and go home.
I will fucking drop you on the sidewalk.
Put that in your head.
I will fucking drop you on the sidewalk. That is threatening, intimidating behavior. The only one who committed any crimes in this event here is Jason. If either of these two committed any sort of crime, it would be a real petty blocking the sidewalk. And they probably wouldn't even ever have had a cop say something to them. They just said, hey, move along. But the only one threatening here, am I wrong? Can you guys confirm what I'm saying here? Do you agree or do you disagree? Speak your piece. Who's the one threatening in this video so far?
And you will.
Yes, I will.
Oh, wow. You're
Yep.
going to do it left-handed?
That's up to you to find out.
When?
Move the fuck out of my way.
Rosie, let's go. Let's go.
Move out of my way.
In that video right there, it would look like the guy stuck his face in Jason's camera.
That's up to you to find out.
When?
Move the fuck out of my way.
Rosie, let's go. Let's go.
Move out of my way.
So he tries to walk forward, and this idiot is in his way, literally blocking his way.
Flack says, this idiot is blocking his way, and Jason tried to move forward. No, Jason attacked and assaulted this man.
Literally.
Literally.
I'm walking through. Get the fuck out. Listen here, piece of shit.
All right, so now watch this view. You guys watching this, right? You're paying close attention to this. Now, if let's pretend that you're either a prosecutor reviewing this video footage to see what charges you could bring up against the man, or maybe bring charges against the man with the camera, or who is really to blame for this encounter here. And when you watch this video, pay close attention to where this man is standing. Watch his hat and see his little white logo on the hat and where it's at on this thing in the window. You'll see that this man does not move forward whatsoever. The only one who moves forward is Jason. And he literally sticks his camera in the guy's face and shoves him in the face with his camera. So you guys tell me what you see. I want to hear your opinions if you're willing to provide it. Let's see. There goes the guy right there, the guy who parked in the spot, and his wife wearing a hijab, and the kid that they had with them in the back seat. They're pulling away. So now watch this man standing here, and you can see that he does not. And if this isn't a girl standing here, this John Redcorn Jr., if this isn't a girl posture, I don't know what is. But anyways, look at the position of this man in the window, and you'll see that he does not move forward one bit.
You got your kids with you. Just remember, they're watching.
He actually backs up a hair. And Jason shoves his camera in his face. And the guy grabs his monopod to stop him from shoving it in his face. Jason has the camera monopod with both hands on it. His pulling it away from this man brings the monopod and the camera and hits Benjamin with it. And then Jason Gutter Trashman blames this man for hitting Benjamin with the camera.
Again, they blocked his way. You're not allowed to do that. He tried to move forward. He got in his way. Now he's trying to steal his property from him. A very expensive.
He's trying to steal his property from him. Is that what you see, John Flax? That he's trying to steal his property? He's going to take it away from him and run away, put it in his vehicle, and skedaddle off and go to the pawn shop and sell it? Is that what you think, John Flax? Is that your definition of stealing? Or did you kind of get the word steal wrong with trying to prevent Jason from using that monopod and camera as a weapon against him? I see it as him defending and preventing a further attack from Jason Gutter Trashman.
It's a camera rig.
Get the fuck out of my way. I don't give a shit who she
And here's a closer take of Ben when he skedaddled by, and I showed you his cute little face where he's smiling like a little schoolgirl.
I don't care who she
And he gets a real good look here. Now watch again. This guy does not move one bit. He's standing still. And Jason literally sticks his camera in his face. Look at him like he's really fucking tough guy. He really believes he's a fucking tough guy.
Call the police. Let's
Take your
go.
shit
And the guy is actually backing up a little bit.
and go
Let's
home.
go.
Take your shit and go home.
Yeah, and they're doing this in front of their kids.
Jason Gutterman is doing it in front of his kids.
I will fucking drop you.
I will fucking drop you.
Put that in your hand, you will.
Yes, I will.
Oh, wow. You're going to do it left-handed?
That's up to you to find out.
Got your kids with you.
Move the fuck out of my way.
Rosie, let's go.
Move out of my way because I'm walking through. Get the fuck out of my... Listen here, piece of shit.
And it appears that the tough guy isn't so tough because this guy kind of manhandles Jason. He pushes him back and he controls Jason.
What are you going to do?
And here, and let me back it up just a hair. And look who's in the background digging into her purse. Look who's digging into her purse right here. Look who's digging into her purse for her bottle of pepper spray.
What are you going to do?
Look at her digging into that purse. She just pulled it out. She got it in her hand. She's already got her arm up spraying him, and Jason's both spraying him. They're both spraying this guy with pepper spray.
Oh,
And she's continuing to spray him after he lets go and he's turned. He's got his back turned to her, and she's still spraying the guy.
look how stupid that control freak is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look how stupid this control freak right here is, and his stupid wife, by both of them pepper spraying this guy. That's how stupid they are. I don't know exactly what you're watching, John Flax, but your cognitive dissonance is fucking overwhelming. Your brain is literally broken, dude.
Stupid that idiot control freak is that wanted a white knight for his stupid wife who couldn't mind.
We want to know who wanted a white knight. Jason Gutterman wanted a white knight for the guy and the woman in the pickup truck. That's who was white knighting.
Their own business. You don't get to touch people. You don't get to block people. You dumbass.
You're absolutely right. You don't get to touch people, shove your camera in their face, and you don't get to pepper spray them after they try to defend themselves from your attack.
To spray him like 4 times before he finally figured
Yeah, he
out.
sprayed him 4 times. 4 individual attacks when one was plenty.
That it's going to burn so bad that he can't hold on to the Gutterman's equipment.
Gutter Trashman's equipment.
And again, the idiots still don't realize.
Look at how scared he is. He's such a badass. He's oh, leave me alone.
Even after they're sprayed, to back the F up. Again, where do they get this audacity?
Where do you get the audacity to determine that this guy has to do anything? John Flax, you're delusional, bro. If I'm delusional, please, anybody in the chat, tell me that I'm the one who's wrong. Do me a favor. Point out how I'm wrong. Point out how I'm blind and I'm incorrect about this situation. And Jason Gutterman was absolutely justified in what he's done. Tell me. I won't get mad at you. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll say, okay, well, that's your opinion, but tell me I'm wrong here. You guys are watching the same video. Tell me who you think is wrong here.
This is why everybody should be open carrying.
Is that why you went and got a gun and you open carry, Johnny boy? So you could shoot somebody like me who comes and confronts you? I got you on video saying that you're going to shoot me. I screen recorded your shit. So if we ever meet and you pull that gun and I'm quicker on the draw and one of us is unhappy at the end of that conversation, I've already got it on video that you had the total intentions of shooting me if I ever appear in front of you. Your words, John boy, tough guy.
Guarantee you, if Gutterman was open carrying right now, this moron wouldn't even try to block him on the sidewalk.
This is funny. Look at this. The dude who was just defending his wife comes up and kicks Jason in his little fucking ding-ding. This was the best part of the fucking video. Now tell me that isn't an amazing fucking picture right there. Tell me that isn't an amazing fucking picture right there. Tell me that isn't awesome. Hey, what's up, the freak? You showed up, eh? But tell me that that's not an awesome screenshot right there, a thumbnail. Is that not a thumbnail of all thumbnails? That is fucking awesome. It is literally fucking awesome. Am I a tough guy channel or is he a troll? Am I a troll or am I a tough guy channel, or are you referring to the guy on the camera, the guy in the video? I don't know. You have to clarify yourself. You know, one sentence is kind of leaving, you know, a lot unsaid. You have to be pretty specific because I could misconstrue your comment and give you a hard way to go. But anyways, but that was funny. But the funny thing is that if she really would have kicked him in his little ding ding there and really jacked his cojones up and sent him up into his stomach, he would have fucking went down. There's no way that he took a little kick. I think his fucking testicles have been removed because he didn't react to the way that I would react. And so let's back this up a little bit because this is kind of funny. All right, let's watch.
They're right there. Look.
Hold on, I got back it up.
They're right. I guarantee you, if Gutterman was open carrying right now, this moron wouldn't even try to block him on the sidewalk.
This is funny. Kaboom! Kicked him
right there.
She wanted to play. Hey, you know, South Park is in Colorado, and apparently she wanted to play Rochambeau, and she took the first opportunity to Rochambeau little Cartman Jr. over here. I won't even go to Cartman. That's an insult. Little fucking garden gnome.
Let's go back.
And then he throws the pepper spray can at him. This is funny. Kaboom! Right in the little
Look at this.
thing.
Good thing she's already dressed in orange. She's halfway there. Runs up and field goal kicks his nuts. Look at this imbecile. This is how they act.
I don't think she's an imbecile. I think she's pretty brave in assisting in the defense of her husband, which is not against the law in Colorado.
Children.
If you
Ah,
don't
damn
understand
commercials! I
conflict, you are
gotta
very
re-up
easy
my
to manipulate.
subscription.
Crazy.
Too bad their German Shepherd didn't attack his ass and tear him the fuck up. That would have been amazing if that German Shepherd would have chewed his little ass up and grabbed his little ding ding and gnawed him off. That would have been amazing to catch on video. And this guy claims later on, you won't see it in this video, but he claims later on that he's a police officer. Well, didn't he just say he doesn't call cops? Now he's saying, let's call the cops. And the kids are traumatized. They're screaming, the cameraman did hurt my daddy. You hear the kid right there? The cameraman! The cameraman! Look at her. She's over here. Why don't they stay together? Why are they always flanking each other, like always standing so far apart? Do they don't want anybody to know that they're all together? Is that their, plan when they show up? Okay, you stand 30 feet away and you watch from a distance and you come in and attack if you need be.
Yeah, I got that shit in my eyes. Just call 911. I am.
So the cop shows up. There's not much more until the cop shows up. No, it's in Colorado. Excuse me. A city called Idaho Springs, Colorado. Flax is a fucking retard. Flax is no better than gutter trashman. And if you go into the original video on Amagansett Press's channel from this incident, and you go into the comment section, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of people saying that what he did was justified and blah, 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 blah. And you can't talk sense into these fucking mentally disabled individuals who believe it. So it's not difficult to pick up your phone or go on the computer and look up the information. Like Flax is here saying that it's against the law. I got to back this up. I got to stop the video on the kick to the groin. I'm going to pause it on that.
Where do they get this audacity? This is why everybody should be open carrying. I guarantee you, if Gutterman was open carrying right now, this moron wouldn't even try to block him on the sidewalk.
There we go. We'll stop it right there. With the foot to his little ding ding. Rochambeau. So, gutter trash is more than a rage baiter. He's something else, man. So, anywho, you got people in the description, or maybe not in the description, but in the comment section of the original video claiming that he was justified. You can't block people's path. Same thing that I dealt with. And I'm not trying to bring it back up, but when Ian Pfister of Welcome to This World Media pepper sprayed the man outside the meat market and claimed self-defense, I was steadily in the comment section until he blocked me, explaining to people that what he did was not self-defense under the Michigan law. When you instigate and create a situation where you're rage baiting people or whatever it is, you can't defend yourself and claim, that you were standing your ground. That's not how the law works. And most people don't understand the law. Me, myself, and I've been dealing with the law and fighting, bogus charges for many years, more than people could ever imagine. And I know the law fairly well. And I've been complimented by criminal judges in my paperwork by complimenting me, saying that I filed a great, my paperwork was awesome. And I've had my own lawyer tell me that you do pretty damn good work, but I'm not a lawyer. So nonetheless, I know the law well enough. And I didn't have to look it up to figure out the actual right and wrong here. If you want to, I'm going to give Jason Gutterman an F. I'm going to give the man in the hat here a C plus. The guy who got the pepper spray. I'm going to give the wife with the drop kicking field goal ball shot an A plus. So, according to Colorado law, it is illegal to block someone's path on a sidewalk, but you cannot legally attack them or physically move them yourself. Taking matters into your own hands with physical violence will result in a criminal charge against you. So what Jason did was easily determined through artificial intelligence, who just basically uses all the information available online to determine that what Jason Gutterman did was against the law. Even though what the guy, the wife, if they blocked the path, yeah, that was against the law. But if the cop wasn't there to see it, then they really didn't do anything wrong. Technically, you could complain about it. By that time, it would be over with. But literally cramming your camera into somebody's face and assaulting them is against the law. So this is from AI. I'm not going to share the AI shit. You could probably type this information in yourself or follow along with your own AI. And it states that the law on blocking the sidewalks is deliberately blocking a public walkway is a crime in Colorado. I don't think this woman in the orange pants kicking gutter trash in the balls right now, or the man with the hat, her husband, were deliberately blocking anybody. They were standing there having a somewhat heated exchange in opinions on the matter that Jason and they injected themselves into, because the situation was only between the man and the woman in the pickup truck that were being blocked. All Jason had to do was point out to them that that's the guy right there sitting there, that's the owner of that car. That should have been the only thing that he did. But no, Jason likes to escalate things and run his little fucking garden gnome mouth, because for some reason he really believes that he's a tough guy, and he is nothing of the sort. This is clear and concise evidence that he should probably just shut his mouth and triple up on his pepper spray to protect himself when he starts shit with other people. Anybody knows me, I have a motto: don't start no shit, won't be no shit. But Jason, he doesn't go follow that motto, of course. So obstructing a passageway under Colorado revised statute is a petty offense to intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly obstruct a highway, a street, sidewalk, or any other public passageway. Obstruct, in quotations, means making passage impassable, unreasonably inconvenient, or hazardous. What that woman did wasn't any of the sort. So even if a cop was standing there, he more than likely wouldn't have said, "I'm going to give you a ticket for obstructing sidewalk. You're impeding Jason Gutterman's movement." There could possibly be an additional charge if you were within the intent and you were making the passage impassable and unreasonable and inconvenient or hazardous. You possibly could be charged with false imprisonment, which is really silly. But if someone intentionally blocks your path specifically to trap you, prevent you from leaving, or restrict your movement without your consent, they could be charged with false imprisonment. I highly doubt if anybody in the history of Colorado has ever been charged with false imprisonment while standing on a sidewalk having a heated exchange between each other, between two people who were sticking their noses in business that had nothing to do with them. The cops would say, break it up, move along before I give you both disorderly conduct. That would be the extent of it. But the local municipal codes, many Colorado cities have stricter ordinances. So I asked about the stricter ordinances in Colorado Springs, in Idaho Springs, Colorado. And there is an ordinance, but it's pretty similar to just you're not allowed to block a sidewalk. And your self-defense limits in this situation, and Colorado stand your ground principles only allow you to use physical force if you reasonably believe the other person is about to inflict imminent bodily harm upon you. Simply standing in your way or being an inconvenience is exactly what they were doing if they were doing anything. Does not constitute an imminent physical threat. But on the other hand, this guy that was pepper sprayed could say he's standing his ground because he reasonably believed that the use of physical force was going to be used upon him by Jason and his multiple threats. So if your path, this is something that Jason should have figured out. If your path was blocked on a sidewalk, your legal remedies are limited to non-violent options. Mark Jason Gutter Trashman. Ask the person politely, which you didn't do, to step aside. Or just walk around them if it is safe to do so. Or grab your phone like you would normally do because you're a cop caller who claims you're not a cop caller. Call local law enforcement or non-emergency dispatch to report an illegal obstruction of a public right-of-way. And so, again, I was talking about Idaho Springs has an explicit ban blocking public sidewalks. However, it's a local ordinance, but it does not grant any citizen the legal right to physically assault or move someone who is committing this alleged violation. And sidewalk obstruction violations, according to the Idaho Springs code enforcement, the city regulates, you can't block the pedestrian flow. The code dictates that no items, no vehicles, physical obstacles may be placed on sidewalks if they obstruct the normal flow of pedestrian traffic. There was nothing there but a human body. Idaho Springs has adopted the Colorado Model Traffic Code, which makes it illegal to stop, stand, or park a vehicle or leave property in a manner that would block a sidewalk or crosswalk. And it would fall under a nuisance category. Under the Chapter 16, creating any public hazard or blocking a public right-of-way can be treated as an unlawful nuisance subject to city abatement and fines. It doesn't even apply here. So I asked, can you use force in Idaho Springs against someone who blocks the sidewalk and you want to get around them? It says, no. Local ordinances reinforce the state law, meaning code violations must be handled strictly by law enforcement or city code compliance officers. Taking physical action to move a person would immediately shift you from the victim of an obstruction of the perpetrator to a third-degree assault or harassment under Colorado state law. So AI is saying that Jason Gutter Trashman is guilty of third-degree assault and harassment. A civilian has no self-help enforcement power regarding public sidewalks in Idaho Springs. How to handle a sidewalk obstruction in Idaho Springs simply says if someone or something is unsafe blocking a sidewalk, which I don't believe that a human being standing there is an unsafe blocking of the sidewalk while they're having an exchange of opinions. The city requires you document it and report it through official channels rather than intervening yourself. And then it gives you a whole bunch of information to call and blah, blah, blah. And then I asked AI if two people are having a heated argument, in that scenario, who is that wrong? And it said, because I described what they were both doing, and it says, in this scenario, which I don't need AI to tell me this, but I'm using AI to prove my point. In this scenario, both individuals have likely committed criminal offenses, but the person using physical violence is at fault for assault and battery, while the individual standing still may be violating local obstruction ordinances. Colorado law does not allow any physical retaliation for nonviolent provocations, especially when a safe alternative path is available. And it gives you a breakdown of who is at fault in this entire scenario because I described it to AI. And it says a court or police officer reviewing the situation would evaluate the actions of both parties independently, as one person's unlawful behavior does not excuse the other's criminal actions. And then it says the person with the camera, person A, bears the primary criminal fault for escalating a verbal dispute into physical violence. They face liability for several severe offenses. The first one would be third-degree assault, shoving camera gear violently into someone's face satisfies the legal definition of knowingly or recklessly causing bodily injury or offensive physical contact. The second thing that Jason Gutter Trashman could be faced with is menacing. And this is Colorado revised statute. Threatening physical violence beforehand, i.e., I am going to move you, constitutes placing another person in fear of imminent serious bodily injury by threat or action. The third thing that Jason Gutterman could be possibly charged with would be harassment. Striking, shoving, kicking, or making offensive physical contact with intent to harass, annoy, or alarm another person is a misdemeanor. Then it refers to the person standing still, which is person B, the man that got pepper sprayed. Person B is not legally responsible for being assaulted, but they are not entirely without fault regarding the initial confrontation for obstructing a passageway. Even if there is plenty of room to walk around, intentionally standing in someone's direct line of travel to block them could still be charged as a petty offense. You could also be charged with disorderly conduct, used fighting words, or intentionally provoke the altercation in a public place. They could face minor charges. And then they say that why self-defense does not apply to person A, Jason Gutterman. Person A cannot claim self-defense under Colorado revised statute for 3 strict reasons. There was no imminent threat. Person B was simply standing there, passive standing. Even if stubborn or annoying, it is not an active threat of physical harm. The duty to retreat and safe escape, because there was plenty of room to walk around, person A, Jason Gutterman, had an easy, safe alternative to avoid conflict. Choosing violence over walking away destroys any self-defense claim. The initial aggressor rule. Person A threatened violence first. A person cannot threaten a fight, use physical force, and then claim they were defending themselves. The bottom line, legally, words and passive blocking do not justify physical assault or battery. Police arriving at the scene would also certainly arrest person A, Jason Gutterman, for assault, while person B might simply receive a minor citation for obstructing the sidewalk. If this incident resulted in physical injuries, damaged camera equipment, or if it happened on private property, rather than a public sidewalk, please share those details so I can explain how. Well, anyways, I explained more in detail, and it says, in this escalated scenario, the man with the camera and his wife are primarily at fault and face severe criminal charges. Talking about Jason Gutterman and his wife. The man who was concerned, person B, was acting in a lawful self-defense when he grabbed the monopod. Under Colorado law. The subsequent pepper spraying by both the camera owner and his wife is considered illegal retaliation and assault, not self-defense. The criminal charges and liability breakdown. The man with the camera, person A, faces the most severe criminal charges because he was the initial aggressor. He is facing possible third-degree assault. He committed his first assault by shoving the camera gear into person B's face. He committed a second count of assault by pepper spraying person B. Misuse of a self-defense chemical spray. Can you say Ian Pfister, the welcome to this world media, Jason Gutterman? While pepper spray is legal to carry in Colorado, using it offensively during the commission of another crime removes its self-defense legal status and treats it as an assault weapon. Menacing and harassment. For the initial veiled threats and physical intimidation, of him saying, "I'm going to move you and I'll lay you out, buddy." And Jason Gutterman's wife will likely be arrested and charged as a co-defendant for third-degree assault for deploying pepper spray against a victim who was not actively threatening her or her husband. She's complicit in the conspiracy. By joining in on her husband's illegal assault, she becomes legally accountable for the entire criminal encounter. The man who blocked the path, person B. He is highly unlikely to face any charges for grabbing the monopod. No criminal liability for force. Person B used a proportional, non-lethal amount of force, grabbing the weapon and the gear being shoved into his face solely to stop an active physical assault. This is fully protected under Colorado's self-defense statute. He may face a minor infraction. He could still theoretically be cited for a local ordinance for blocking the sidewalk, but this is a petty infraction completely eclipsed by the couple's violent actions. Why the couple cannot claim self-defense. This is talking about Gutterman and his wife. Under Colorado revised statute outlines strict rules that completely invalidate the couple's claim to self-defense or defense of others. The initial aggressor exception, a person cannot start a physical fight, shoving the camera into a man's face, and then claim self-defense when the victim tries to stop the weapon. Because the husband initiated Jason Gutterman, because he initiated the violence, he lost his legal right to use force. There was no imminent threat. By grabbing a monopod to stop a camera from being smashed into his face as a defensive disarming action. Once person B held the monopod to stop the attack, the husband was not in danger of imminent bodily harm. He was simply thwarted. Pepper spraying him was an act of angry retaliation, which is completely illegal. The wife defense of others fails. Under Colorado law, you can only use force to defend a third party if that third party is legally entitled to use self-defense themselves. Because the husband was the illegal aggressor, he had no right to use force. Therefore, the wife had no legal right to defend him by pepper spraying the victim. The bottom line, the couple acted as a tandem aggressive unit. The husband started a physical altercation. The victim legally attempted to neutralize the tool used to assault him, and the couple responded with a double deployment of chemical weapons. If police arrive or video footage of this interaction exists, both the cameraman and his wife would be arrested for assault. And so I also said that the wife kicked Jason in the nuts. And AI said, based on how Colorado law and police procedures operate, this specific twist creates a highly volatile situation where the immediate outcome is a wrongful arrest. Excuse me, it's not, I haven't gotten there yet. But is a wrongful arrest to arrest the guy that was assaulted by Jason. But the long-term outcome is a major legal backlash against the police department and the YouTuber. Then it says the imminent scene, the wrongful arrest. If a police officer shows up, because I asked it, I said, hey, this cop that showed up took sides and was very biased in favor of Jason Gutterman, the YouTuber, then arrested the actual victims. And AI says if a police officer shows up with a pre-existing bias towards a popular YouTuber, the officer has the on-scene power to make a subjective flawed arrest. The on-scene justification, the officer will use the wife's physical intervention. I asked about the kick to the groin, and it says the officer will use the wife's physical intervention, the attempted kick to the groin, as a reason to arrest her for third-degree assault. The officer will likely frame the husband, the guy who was pepper sprayed, as the instigator for blocking the sidewalk and grabbing the monopod. And that is exactly what happened when the cop showed up. Because he goes, oh, I know who you are, and I watch your content all the time. And he was on Team Gutterman from the get-go. The reality of police immunity under Colorado law, they have no qualified immunity at the scene, or they have qualified immunity at the scene to make arrests if they can claim they have probable cause, even if their interpretation of facts is deeply flawed or biased. And how the system will correct itself. The video evidence will overrule the officer because the aggressor is a popular YouTuber. The entire interaction was almost certainly recorded either by the YouTuber himself with his camera, the victim's phone, or nearby security cameras. The objective evidence, the video footage, does not care about YouTube subscriber counts. A prosecutor or a judge reviewing the raw footage will clearly see the chronological order of events: the veiled threat, the shoving the camera in the face, the defensive grab of the monopod, the double pepper spray, and so on and so on. The defense of others exception, while the officer arrested the victim's wife for kicking the YouTuber in his little gonads, Colorado revised statute explicitly protects her. She witnessed her husband being assaulted with a camera and then chemically blinded by two people. Her attempted kick to the groin is a textbook definition of a lawful defense of a third party against an ongoing violent assault. The district attorney will likely drop these charges. The district attorney in Colorado do not like pursuing cases where the police officer clearly botched the initial aggressor determination. Once the defense attorney prevents the video evidence showing the YouTuber struck first and used pepper spray illegally, the DA will likely dismiss all charges against the victim and his wife to avoid an embarrassing loss in court. The DA may then choose to flip the case and issue arrest warrants for Jason Gutterman and his wife for assault and perjury if they actually lied to the police on the report. And then it says that there is a civil lawsuit against the police, civil rights lawsuit. This is where the biased police officer faces severe personal professional consequences. Colorado has one of the strictest anti-police bias laws in the country. It abolished qualified immunity for state and local officers who violate a citizen's constitutional rights. The lawsuit, the victim and his wife can file federal civil rights lawsuits against the officer in the city for false arrest, unlawful detainment, and malicious prosecution. Because the officer's bias towards the YouTuber in his favor can be proven through body camera footage or showing him fanboying, and I've been calling him a fanboy, a super fanboy for a long time in the comments, and showing him fanboying or ignoring actual evidence, the city will likely have to pay a massive financial settlement to the victims. The ultimate outcome, the immediate outcome is traumatic for the victims: handcuffs, a ride to jail, and booking fees. However, the final outcome is a disaster for the YouTuber and the officer. The video evidence will vindicate the victims. The charges will be dropped, and the YouTuber will face criminal liability, and the police department will face a high-profile civil rights lawsuit that could cost the biased officer maybe his job. If you are trying to understand the next step, blah, 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 blah. So I asked if the YouTuber would be sued. I already know the answer, but it says yes. The victim can absolutely sue the YouTuber after the criminal charges are dismissed. In fact, a dismissal of the criminal charges significantly strengthens the victim's civil case against the YouTuber. Under Colorado law, the victim can file a civil lawsuit against both the YouTuber and his wife for monetary damages. Why a dismissal helps the civil suit, blah, blah, blah. We don't even need to go there. But in the criminal case, if the criminal case is dismissed because the video evidence proved the YouTuber was the true initial aggressor, that same evidence makes a very high civil victory probable. What the victim can sue for in the causes of actions, the Colorado personal injury or civil rights attorney would likely sue the YouTuber and his wife for the following intentional torts and civil wrongs: civil assault and battery, assault for creating the imminent fear of harm via the verbal threats and shoving the camera into the victim's face, the battery for actual physical contact of the camera hitting the face and the chemical burning caused by the illegal deployment of the pepper spray, intentional infliction of emotional distress. The victim can sue for physical trauma caused by this event. Being publicly humiliated, chemically blinded, and wrongfully arrested due to the YouTuber's actions constitutes extreme and outrageous conduct intended to cause severe emotional distress. False imprisonment and malicious prosecution. Because the YouTuber used his influence and likely lied to the police officer And he kind of did when he was telling the cops all of the fucking little events. He was little white lies. So then the victim can hold the YouTuber civilly liable for the time spent handcuffed and in jail. Defamation for libel and slander. If the YouTuber uploads the video to his channel and frames the victim as a violent criminal or the aggressor to his audience, knowing that he actually started the fight, the victim can sue for massive damages to their reputation, career, and personal life. In Colorado, a successful civil suit would force the YouTuber to pay for both the common economic and punitive damages, medical expenses from the pepper spray, ambulance bills, anything of the sort. Economic losses reimbursed for criminal defense attorney fees, bail bonds, any lost wages, missing work due to being jailed. Pain and suffering, compensation for the physical pain of the pepper spray and the emotional trauma of a public wrongful arrest. Punitive damages. If the victim can prove the YouTuber acted with malice, which that would be very easily to do. Fraud, which would be very easy to do because he claims that the guy shoved his face into his camera. His title of his video that Jason posted is a literal confession that Jason is the aggressor. Kind of like, when you had your little brother or whatever, and you held him down and you grabbed his fists and you made him punch himself, and you're going, stop hitting yourself, don't hit yourself. Same thing Jason did in the title where he says, man breaks his face on my camera, or whatever the hell the title was. If the victim can prove the YouTuber acted with malice, fraud, or wanton disregard for safety just to get views and clicks, the judge can award punitive damages. This is punishment money meant to financially break the YouTuber to deter future reckless behavior. Going after the YouTube revenue is another way. If he wins the case, the victim's legal team can garnish the YouTuber's bank accounts, seize his assets, and potentially intercept his YouTube ad revenue and sponsorship payouts to satisfy the court's financial judgment. So, whether any of you people out here who support this fucking clown realize it, I've been waiting for a situation like this to happen. Not long ago, Jason attacked an older gentleman, probably a senior citizen, not probably, more than likely in his early to mid 60s, outside of a Walgreens in Sedona, Arizona. And he created the entire scenario in that situation as well, and then played the victim, and the cops sided with Jason in that scenario. And I communicated with the prosecutor's office and the police officers that were involved. Can't exactly tell you what occurred because they kind of blew me off. But the same thing that I'm going to do here is I've attempted to reach out to Officer Romo, Mr. Fanboy, to say, hey, you know what, you probably would want to watch that video and not swear under oath that Jason was the victim, because that would get your ass handed to you in a court by any competent defense attorney. So I also tried to communicate with the prosecutor's office, but apparently this small little town is on lockdown, and you have a very difficult time communicating with the police department or the prosecutor's office. But you can guarantee I'm not going to give up, because right is right and wrong is wrong. And I don't give two shits if anybody thinks that I'm a snitch for trying to bring this information to the surface on who is actually the one that should be charged with any crimes in this scenario. And in my personal opinion, that would be Jason Gutterman. So I don't know what you people think, because you're kind of tight-lipped in here. You're not really talking much, which is a typical viewership in my channel. You guys kind of keep tight lips for the most part. Now I've seen Jason's video, or not videos, but his pictures that he's posted online, because he's worked out and he's got a little bit of definition to his body, but he's still only about 5'7" and probably about 145 pounds. And that's not anything for him to be pushing his weight around, so to speak. I haven't seen his legs on Instagram. Couldn't tell you. I'll take your word for it. Probably a little silly. Jason Adam Gutterman, despite AI, Jason Gutterman often referred to online as Mark or Jason Gutterman is an American digital content creator. Okay, I don't know what. So this is what the they tweak Slims. If you don't like it, go watch fucking Bow. Go over there and hang out for hours and hours and toss them $49.99 a month so you can hang out over there. You don't have to come over here. Tweaks, Slims McGee, running your yapper like you always do. Disrupting my stream with your fucking stupid comments. So, if any of you continue to support this guy, they might want to question your own judgment, because guys like Jason Gutterman over here at Amagansett Press, guys like Liberty Troll or Impact Media out there, you know, Liberty Patrol, Liberty Troll, all these endless flow of nitwits who run around the country pepper spraying people. If you want to continue to support this type of content, I don't know what to tell you. To me, I find this content to be very harmful. I refer to it as harmful content. And absolutely, just reading Oppressed Logic, I still think all this shit is a straight up psyop, all designed to manipulate everyone on all sides while the state laughs and sips martinis. Oh, and Flax is retarded. Well, thank you for agreeing with me on the Flax being retarded aspect. But you clearly, are on the same page with me that all of this is basically a psyop, if you ask me. And I've done plenty of live streams where I've literally witnessed, and my moderators in here and a few other people witnessed this in real time, where these First Amendment auditors will share an audience. If one of them goes live, there'll be 200 people watching. If a second channel goes live, some of those 200 will jump over to the second live stream, and then a third channel will go live, and some of the viewers from both of those channels, the 200 viewers in the live stream, will spread out across all three of the channels. So there's a limited amount of people that are watching these live streams and commenting in the chats and participating in it. I've proved time and time again that these channels have fake numbers on them. They don't have 1 million subscribers. They don't have 400,000 subscribers. They don't have the numbers that YouTube makes it appear that they have. I've done so many real time, as it occurs, exposures of this as it happens. It can't be disputed. I've confronted YouTubers over this. One particular one is Direct D, Christopher Buttruff, who's currently sitting in county jail right now. He's no longer hiding out in his shack in the middle of the desert, avoiding his sentencing date from Maricopa County when he was tried and convicted, but absconded on the sentencing part. They finally caught up to him because he let his little dicky dick take over his rational thought processes and allowed some woman he met on Facebook dating to come and live on his property so he could dip his noodle in her little meat pie there. And it turned out that she's an evil woman. Shocker. Took a PPO out on him, called the police on him, all kinds of things. But I don't think that Direct D is smart enough to realize that maybe, just maybe, the powers that be who really run YouTube might have sent her to him specifically to do this to him. Some people would say, that's ludicrous, bad media. How could you even think that the government would go to that extent to set somebody up, to shut them up and to silence them and to ruin their life? Well, you don't pay too much attention for the most part. Some of you just come on here and you watch, or maybe some of you are part of the machine that is the PSYOP, and you're just playing your role. Maybe some of you are legit. I don't know who's who or what's what. I just know what I know. I've exposed pogo channels for a very long time. And a pogo channel is a privately owned, government-operated creator on YouTube. YouTube used to be a really organic place where a lot of people came to share information. And then when Google bought YouTube, they deleted and booted all of those people off YouTube and replaced them with their shills like Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer and Adam Marfugel TV. And I could go on and on and on. And it's a specific 5 genres that have been, in my opinion, participating in the PSYOP. And so my opinion is neither here nor there. I know what I know. I've experienced what I've experienced. I've been targeted by YouTubers and prosecuted for my words on the internet that hurt people's feelers. And they claim that they were threatened. And they go to the police and they reported me to the FBI. They reported me to the local sheriff's department, the police. And they've contacted my employer and ultimately tried to destroy my life. Not once, but twice. In my YouTube presence, since I started this channel in 2018, where I was vocal. I've had the channel for a while, but since I started this channel, I have become a target of other YouTubers trying to silence me from sharing the information that I've discovered about these content creators who are here on behalf of the government as controlled opposition and or pogo channels or go-go channels, government owned, government operated. That's another story for another day, but I can guarantee you I am 110% accurate with my belief and opinion on what most of these YouTubers are. They are here for a purpose. And one of the things that I have discovered is that it's an echo chamber, and there's very limited amount of people that are actually engaged in this content. Like I was saying, Direct D, for an example, on his side hustle channel called Christopher Ruff. That's completely separate from the Direct D channel that has over 300,000 subscribers. His side channel has 28,000 subscribers. And at the peak of his live streaming engagement that he would do almost on a daily basis, he could only muster up about 150 people at any given time, maximum, watching his live streams. And that's somebody with 28,000 subscribers with a new channel. I, on the other hand, have a mere 2,500 plus or minus viewers. And at any given time, at the peak of my live streams where I would do more often and I would have a larger audience on a regular basis, I would have 25 or 30 people or so, fluctuating. And I have 2,500 subs. So if you do the math on the statistical ratio between viewers per subscriber amounts, I was beating Christopher Ruff in viewership. if you know anything about statistics or mathematical equations, you would say, yeah, you're absolutely right. I pointed this out to Christopher Ruff one day in his live stream and told him that your YouTube numbers are fake and it's an echo chamber and blah, 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 blah. And he got butthurt and started attacking me, telling me I was wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. There's a reasons why that happens. People get new cell phones and they don't transfer over their YouTube and they unsubscribe, or they don't want to watch long form content. They want, short content. He had every excuse in the book why people don't watch his channel in mass numbers, when in fact the only logical explanation is that his numbers are literally fabricated by YouTube themselves. When I would go into his chat and I would say things and I would make comments, and we're supposed to be on the same page to a certain degree against anti-government, his viewers and his live chat would attack me, which is a typical norm for people around the internet who have live streams that I try to participate in the live chat. One particular clown was Lane Myers, who again is back in jail on a no bond. Ain't it funny that these guys end up back in jail? But nonetheless, his viewers would constantly attack me when I tried to give Lane Myers logical, reasonable advice on things that he shouldn't do when he goes to court, which would cause him irreparable harm and possibly get him locked up, or to have his motions or his hearings not go in his favor. And so his viewers would attack me constantly and accuse me of being something that I'm not. And one day he was doing a live stream where he claimed that Direct D traveled from his undisclosed location near Snowflake, Arizona, which is several hours away from where Lane Myers' home was at, claimed that Direct D came to his house and broke out his window and attacked his home and his property. And I called bullshit from the start. And I was telling Lane Myers, if Direct D did that, you would have all kinds of video of him or somebody lurking around your property, because you have cameras everywhere. And if you had the footage, it would be the first thing that he posted on his YouTube channel for content. But did a video of Direct D allegedly breaking out his window. And looking at the evidence, I'm not a forensic scientist, but it didn't take a forensic scientist to realize that the glass was on the outside of the window on the ground. That means the window was broken from the inside out. I pointed these little discrepancies out to Lane Myers, and I literally called him during his live stream and confronted him about him being a government plant trying to destroy the First Amendment while appearing to be a victim of the government fighting them. And so he didn't like that too much. And I kind of put him in his place, and he shut up, and I had him on the phone for 45 minutes, wouldn't let him talk, which is pretty an amazing feat for somebody to do to jibber jabber Lane Myers, who never shuts the fuck up. So not long after me appearing in his live stream on a telephone call where he doxed my telephone number, and I was live streaming at the same time. I was live streaming his live stream and called him on my phone while I was live streaming to my viewers onto his channel, so his viewers could enjoy me communicating with him. Maybe a half an hour later, and I knew that it was going to cause me a problem to that degree. Maybe about a half an hour after that, my door starts getting beat down by the sheriff's department. One of Lane Meyer's amazing viewers, subscribers, contacted the Oakland County Sheriff's Department, who I have I had a civil lawsuit pending, contacted the Oakland County Sheriff's Department, believing that I lived in Oakland County, telling them that I'm making threats online because I said, if anybody ever broke into my house, I'm going to shoot their ass. Claimed that I was a convicted felon with a gun, that I was making threats, and blah, 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 blah. And so Oakland County knew that I didn't live in Oakland County. They knew that I was in the county next door. Well, Oakland County decided to take that information from an anonymous caller who didn't want to give his name, but left the phone number to where you could reach it, his dumbass. Oakland County, then the dispatch contacts Macomb County Dispatch and tells them, hey, man, we got this guy who's talking shit about us, because I was talking shit about Oakland County in my live stream, talking about how I was going to expose them for all of their corruption and the crimes that they have committed that I was aware of, which there's a lot that's neither here nor there. So they convinced Macomb County to come over to my house and beat on my door and question me. Macomb County literally asked me on behalf of Oakland County. They said, and I have the body cam footage and I've shared it on this channel, Oakland County wants us to ask you if you were intending to start an insurrection. What? An insurrection? Because I'm exposing them for their corruption and their crimes against me and others who are forced to deal with the court-appointed attorney system and the judiciary and the prosecutors and the corrupt cops. I'm going to start an insurrection. How can a little old guy YouTuber who doesn't have a big voice whatsoever, barely have 13 people in here watching right now, how would I even begin to pursue the idea or to facilitate an insurrection against the government? And that's due to YouTubers and the people that are involved in this psychological operation, Steve, because I'm not part of any psychological operation. I'm not, pretending to be somebody I'm not, and part of some FBI program, InfraGard, that's here on YouTube, causing people strife and problems and spying on you, even, in a deeper sense than Flock ever fucking could do before Flock was ever implemented in the streets of this country. They were doing it through YouTube, watching you, gathering information on you, sending people to you. If you were a threat to their established beast system, they'll send people to you to befriend you, to think that you have some allies in this crazy demonic world that we're stuck in. But in all reality, these people who are sent to you are just flying monkeys of the government, and they will turn on you. And I've had several of them turn on me, have me maliciously prosecuted in one way or the other, claiming some false allegations, all along working for the government. And that's what YouTube is all about. A bunch of criminals exploiting a bunch of nitwits like Amagansett Press or John Flax or DirectD or Lane Myers, or I could go on and on and on and on, using these YouTubers to influence and shape the minds of people. It does many things. These videos do many things. And it could either get you to obey through fear of anything happening to you that you witness in a video of a cop busting out a window, dragging a person out of a car, whooping their ass, taking them to jail, some people would say, oh my God, I don't want to have my window broken out and get my ass beaten and taken to jail. I have bills to pay. I can't afford an attorney. And it brings, the people to their rational belief that I better not fuck around and find out. So that's one of the things that these videos will do to you. Another thing that these videos will do to you will piss you off. And it will make you angry. And it'll encourage you to pick up a camera and go out there and do the things that these guys are doing and confronting the cops out in the street. And that has happened time and time again. Because these YouTubers like Flax and James Freeman and DirectD and the list goes on and on and on, they're always telling you, film the police, go and record them and put them online and call them out. Well, that's easy for these guys to say when the government has their back and gives them the impression that they have, 100,000 subscribers, 200, 300, 1 million subscribers. So people in their brain, they go, ooh, I can grab a camera and I can go out and I can record the cops and I can become cool on the internet and I can have 50,000, 100,000 subscribers and I could become somebody and I can make money and I'll be in with the cool kids club. And that's what people think. Some people. And some of those people who pick up a camera and run out and start recording these fucking cops, they don't get past their first fucking video. As soon as they show up on scene, they don't have the experience. They don't have the knowledge of the law. They don't know where they can go, where they can't go, what they can say, what they can't say, how they can behave, how they can't behave. They only know what they know from watching their heroes on the internet. So they'll grab a camera. They're nobody. They don't have no subscribers on their YouTube channel. They say, I'm going to upload this video. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to record these cops. And I'm going to upload this video. And then the second that they encounter a cop and they record the interaction between them, or they film a traffic stop and the cop tells them to back up and they go, don't tell me what to do, pig. And they start mouthing off and doing what YouTubers do. And next thing you know, that newly created YouTube guy who thinks he's going to be somebody on YouTube, who's never been on YouTube before, he's only been a viewer and a watcher and a supporter of these idiots, gets immediately arrested, gets prosecuted, gets taken to jail, doesn't have no money for bail, don't have no money for a criminal defense attorney, not prepared to get fucking hemmed up because they're watching these videos and they don't get arrested. They talk their way out of this. And all's well at the end of the day. Well, that's not what they're here to do. They're here to influence you. They're influencers. So they influence you to go and do what they do. So you get hemmed up, caught up, beat down, prosecuted, convicted, and put in the corner like a bad little boy who will never pick up a fucking camera again and go out and do that ever again. And they only did it one time. And you probably don't even hear of all these people that go through this. They don't come back on and they go, oh, hey, Amagansett Press, I took your advice in the comment section. Sometimes you do see these. I got arrested and I'm facing charges. Nobody reaches out to them and says, oh man, tell me your story. I'll showcase you so I get you some subscribers and we'll back you up and support you. That's not what they do. I know, because that's what they wouldn't do for me. Even though I had a pretty decent subscriber base that's fairly organic, I tried to reach out to these big YouTubers and to tell them, hey man, I got a great story that you guys could put on your channel and you could showcase it. Maybe that'll help me grow so I can gain some followers that'll back me up when I'm fighting the government. You know how many people put my situation and what I dealt with on their YouTube channels? As far as I know, to this day, there has only been one YouTuber who has ever shared my story to any degree on their channel about what occurred with me and my unlawful arrest, my malicious prosecution, and my battle that I fought for 2 years and beat the fucking court and beat the entire fucking shit. The things that I did were amazing compared to what these guys go through. And that one YouTuber that shared my shit was Poor Dirt Farmer. And he doesn't even really have any subscribers to fucking share it with. Out of all of these hero YouTubers out here, one little old guy in the middle of nowhere in Florida who doesn't really have any following and a lot of people hate him shared my shit. It didn't do me any good. I didn't gain any subscribers. I didn't say, hey, Poor Dirt Farmer sent me. No, I've tried to get on all these big ass channels. I've tried to get into the prison genre onto their channels. I have a lot of people who reach out and go, yeah, I'm interested. Send me some information. And I send it. And then what do you get after that? Crickets. Not because I don't have a great story, but because my story is legit. It's organic. I didn't go out and start no shit. I'm not talking about my arrest from 2019. I'm talking about the shit that happened to me in 2001 when I was entrapped by the government, where they used a friend of mine to entice me and harass me for 3 weeks to get me to involve myself in a drug transaction. And then the criminal prosecution that ensued after that was fucking insane. So that story has never been told to the public on any other channel anywhere. The only story that has ever been told about me was Poor Dirt Farmer talking about my arrest from 2019, which is completely has nothing to do with my entire purpose of starting this channel. So for all of you out there who think these YouTubers are legitimate, you better think again. There may be a couple of them that got lucky and busted through the gates and got themselves a good handful of subscribers. But the general consensus, in my opinion, is that the majority of them are either working some program of sorts. I don't know what. I don't have no fucking proof. But their track record and their behavior and the things that they do and what they promote and what they won't talk about and what they avoid is they won't allow anybody to talk about true corruption within the system that I've experienced. They won't talk about, this is the First Amendment community, they won't talk about how you remove yourself from the corporate legal entity that we all have attached to us, which is our legal all cap name. Whole nother story for another day. But there are certain things that these people refuse to talk about and they avoid like the plague. And that to me tells me that if you're out here demanding freedom and wanting to regain my rights, you sure as fuck ain't doing it the right way. And then when you're presented with an opportunity to see the reality of what's really going on in this beast system and to use your platform with your hundreds of thousands of subscribers to teach and share information with the masses so they can make the decision whether they would like to pursue their individual sovereignty and separate themselves from that legal all caps name and being subjected to statutes and codes and ordinances. They won't allow that to happen. And when you start talking about these things, their brains either reject it altogether because they don't, I can't hear you. And they stick their fingers in their ears and they start being childish with la 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 la, or it just does not compute. They cannot comprehend or fathom how we've all been deceived and we're only willingly participating in this insanity, paying taxes, asking for permission to travel in your private automobile, giving the state permission, paying taxes on the house that you already own, paying taxes on your paycheck, paying taxes on your food, paying taxes on your gas, paying taxes on this, paying taxes on tax. When this country was founded upon no longer paying taxes. Because back then, before the Constitution was born, it was a bunch of alleged criminals defecting from the king's rule. And the forced, you're going to pay tax or you'll pay. So how have we went from a nation who defected from a king's rule to obeying a king's rule? Oh, wait, there's no kings? Wait, I don't know. Is there a king or is there not a king? Sure seems there might be some sort of king fucking hierarchy around here. But how did we get from being free men who stand alone but will not unite if need be, to where I watch a video of a man being shot by a cop and everybody in that comment section is praising the heroes, their saviors, the police. Thank you for keeping us safe, Mr. Officer. But do you not have the Second Amendment to protect yourself and your family and your property from criminals? Wait. They've taken that away from people too, because if you defend your property, your home, your family, yourself, and you use the Second Amendment and you harm somebody who deserved to be harmed because they were attempting to harm you, guess who they prosecute? You. There's no longer this self-defense thing. It's a very, very rarely do you see or hear of people being let off the hook or the spotlight being taken off of them after defending themselves from somebody trying to harm them. This video right here is a prime example of what I'm saying. Not on a grand scale of using a firearm to protect yourself, but grabbing a man's monopod after he crams his fucking camera in your face and shoves you. The Bizarro World police show up and arrest and prosecute, charge the actual victims. Just recently, I've been the victim, if you want to. Yeah. Oh, here you go crying. You're a victim. Uh-huh. If there's a definition behind the word victim, I was the victim of Snafu Snaps. I know he's watching. He's been jonesing for me to say his name, and I wanted to appease him so he'd get a little woody and start jerking his little fucking gherkin. Maybe he's got his little lady dress on. And he could just pull his dress up and just start jerking it without even have to do a zipper. But this guy was victimizing me for years. Albeit he's just harassing me in my chat, fucking running his mouth, called me on my phone, running his dick sucker, telling me he's going to red flag law me. He's going to use the system against me because he's a snitch bitch bastard who works for the big daddy government. Pretending that he's not, that he's some independent journalist, a fisher of men, exposes criminals, traitors, and frauds, when in fact he's the criminal, traitor, and fraud, working for the government, blowing their whistle, metaphorically. So I was literally a victim of this guy for several years until he got me to say something that he could use against me because he rage baited me. And so he ended up convincing law enforcement in his town to charge me. Not for them to charge me, but for them to write a report, take all this wild, crazy information and condense this 2-hour interview where he was whacked out of his fucking mind, admits that he set me up and he got me triggered and rage baited me to get me to say things. And then so the cops in Arizona take a police report and they forward it over to the Macomb County Sheriff. And since Macomb County Sheriff has a boner for me and has a boner for me for years and years and years and years since fucking I was a teenager, long before since I was 5 years old, the county of Macomb has had a fucking boner to fuck me anytime that they get an opportunity. This isn't fucking, this happens, especially to me. So Macomb County wants to prosecute me on behalf of this fucking retard who terrorizes people all over the internet. And these idiots who are associated with him in the Panelverse or wherever the fuck they're at, they all act as if they don't want him around or whatever. But they all suck each other's balls off every chance that they get. They'll talk shit about each other, but the next day they're in love with each other again. It's the wildest shit when you're on the outside looking in. But when you know the structure and you know the purpose and you know the motive and you know the goal, then you start to see and understand exactly what's going on. They're all a part of some wild fucking psychological operation. There's no other logical explanation. And a guy like me, who is not part of the FBI's InfraGard internet psychological operation, fucking with people all online, swatting them, making up false charges, fucking with them in real life. When you're not part of that, you become the target. Because my goal is to expose the government for who they really fucking are. The demonic system, the demons, the minions who facilitate Lucifer's fucking goal of chaos. What's their motto? Order out of chaos. If they could create enough chaos, they'll put enough fear in people to develop some sort of civility and order, I guess you could call it. Don't know. Not quite sure. Don't know what you're talking about, Lynette, because I don't watch Tariq. He's a weirdo. I've went and knocked on Tariq's door, confronted him in person. Him and Snafu pretend to be enemies, but he stopped fucking exposing Snafu when I showed up and started harassing me and focused all of his attention on me, threatening the cops on me. And then now Snafu Snaps and him are apparently buddies, I guess, maybe. Snafu Snaps wants to always go, he Bad Apple Media, he even goes to my enemies and trolls my enemies and went and knocked on Tariq's door. He's a terrible person. He's dangerous. He went and knocked on Tariq's door so he could get information about me threatening to kill people. But Snafu will go and run around the internet and tell people that I'm a crybaby. Well, he's obsessed with me. He tells everybody that I'm obsessed with him. He wants to tell people that he didn't have anything to do with the prosecution about me. That was the state of Michigan that did it. Who in their right fucking mind would accept that fucking lie for the truth that it isn't? The state would never prosecute anybody or pursue any charges if they didn't think that they had a victim. The Snafu was pretending to be my victim, when in fact, I was Snafu Snap's fucking victim. He preyed upon me. He was a predator, a manipulator, and he still is. He hasn't stopped doing it. He manipulated the entire situation from the beginning to the end. The day that the charges were dismissed because he failed to show up to testify against me, to play the victim, because he knew it wouldn't fly in a real court of law. The case was dismissed because he didn't come to the little league game. He forfeited because he knew they would get his ass handed to him by a real fucking man. So what did he do? Not but an hour after the fucking case was dismissed, he called me. He called me again, running his fucking mouth to me. Yeah, really afraid of me, aren't you, Snafu? You fucking coward. So anywho, you guys have no idea what these YouTube content creators are all about. You think that they're original, they're organic, and they're out here. First of all, every bit of the content that these guys share is harassment and bullying according to the YouTube terms of service that would get most channels terminated. But they're allowed to do this because they're here serving a purpose on behalf of YouTube and the government. And if you don't know it, the government actually controls YouTube and all social media. It's not given to you so you could go on and create content and do the things you do, or share your dinner on Facebook, or go on Instagram and tell your stories, or go on X and view your, express your political opinions. It's there to gather intelligence on you and to build a profile on you, so your likeness is in the quantum D-Wave computer. So there's simulation using all of these data centers around the fucking country. The simulation of every one of us is in that fucking quantum D-Wave computer, like The Sims, using it as predictive programming on what we may or may not do. Just like the movie Minority Report. I would love to hear what he had to say about me, Lynette. Not that you'll remember all of the shit talking that he did, just out of curiosity. But hey, if somebody would have recorded it, it'd be great so I could actually watch it. Or somebody would say, hey, Tariq's live and Snafu's over there talking about you. That would have been great. I would have loved to witness it myself and maybe go on there and piss Snafu off and have him go, you're harassing me, you're stalking me, you're obsessed with me. But, here I am. It is all good. So, with what you all just witnessed here with the Amagansett Press and me explaining to you what YouTube is all about and their goal and their purpose, does it register? Do you guys realize what I'm saying isn't just some whacked out conspiracy theory, that it's actually what's going on, and that's the entire purpose of the majority of this content that they share on YouTube? That it's a very small group of people in this country who actually are aware of these channels? Because the general public has no fucking clue as to who most of these people are. And if you don't believe me, go out and ask members of the public who are in the age range of 20 something up to around 50, maybe 60. Ask people randomly, hey, do you watch YouTube? Are you on there often? And if people go, yeah, I watch it all the time, or if they say yeah, pick their brain and ask them what type of content they watch. And if they'll tell you this, that, or the other, then ask them, do you watch any of the prison genre content? Do you watch any of the First Amendment content? Do you watch any of these particular channels? Amagansett Press. Do you watch or say, what do you like? Do you watch First Amendment where they go around recording the police? Because I've asked lots and lots of people these questions, and I was kind of shocked at the answers that I received. But then again, I wasn't shocked at the answers that I received. Most people had no idea, even when they were self-admitted YouTube watchers more than they should. Nobody had any clue who the majority of these First Amendment auditors were. A couple of them were like, oh, yeah. I think you're describing a guy that I've seen before. The only person, YouTuber, that anybody ever knew by name or described them physically, and then when I said, is it this one? They were like, yeah, that's the guy, was Long Island Audit. He's the only one out of all of these YouTubers that anybody actually knew and admitted to watching. And as far as I'm concerned, he's no different than Amagansett Press or James Freeman and all these people that are running around doing the shit that they do, recording the fucking public or the government or post offices or whatever the fuck they're doing. I believe that the majority of these motherfuckers are part of the fucking psychological operation. And that's my opinion. Disagree or not. Or agree with me. Whatever. But I've done enough research and I've had enough experience and I've witnessed enough shit from these motherfuckers in my days of watching them like a fucking hawk that I'm really perceptive. I'm extremely hyper vigilant. I see things that most people can't, or maybe they just refuse to, or their brain won't allow it to click. So, appreciate you guys that have been here watching. I would hope that you all understand why I produce the content that I do, and I share the information that I share, because I want you people to be able to make a rational decision on who and what you pay attention to and who and what you follow on here. And maybe something I've said will make you go, things that make you go, Or maybe you'll just say, oh, that bad media, he's fucking insane. He thinks that these people out here are fucking working for the government. Think whatever you want. Until you walk a mile in my shoes, you see what I see, you experience what I experience, you'll probably continue to think that way. But I would suggest that you listen to what I'm saying and you heed my warnings and you accept my experience as firsthand knowledge. And you say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna listen to them, and I'm gonna pay more attention and see how these people react and how they behave. And what I know is what I know. What's up, Rip Curl? Gamer of the Dam just showed up again. Glad I could put you to sleep. Glad I could make you get a couple of Z's in. Take a little cat nap. So anywho, I'm going to cut this video off. I'm going to go on about my evening and jump into the sack and get me some Z's. And hopefully, some of you have heard what I've said and you've taken my words and you've understood where I'm coming from, and you don't discredit what I'm saying and just push it to the wayside. Because you don't want to learn the hard way. You could do this the easy way, or you could do it the hard way. The easy way would be listening to me. The hard way would be ignoring me and learning from your own personal experiences. So until the next time, could be tomorrow, could be Sunday, you never know, but it will definitely be Monday. If anything changes, I'm going to be a little bummed out. But as far as I'm concerned, I will be at the sentencing hearing of Ian Pfister from Welcome to This World Media to bring you the breaking news of the sentence that he receives from the judge for the punishment for pepper spraying a man outside of the Marine City Meat Market back in January of this year. So until the next update, or maybe sooner, take it easy out there. Don't eat any yellow snow, even though you're probably not anywhere near any snow. Don't start no shit, and there won't be no shit. You understand what I'm saying, people? Mind your business. Don't involve yourself in anybody's parking spot, fiasco. And you won't have to get yourself in any trouble pepper spraying people out in the streets of the mean streets of Colorado. Oh, and by the way, you'll never see Amagansett Press or any of these other hard-ass YouTubers in the inner cities of the metropolis like Detroit. They might go on the outskirts on 8 Mile Road like Ian Pfister did one day, but you won't go in the hood and do this shit with cameras because it won't turn out too good for you. And if you had any guts, any courage at all, you big ass YouTubers, you take yourself into those fucking streets, the inner streets of the hood, where them folks won't take too kindly with you shining that camera in their face. Be a man and show us some real content. Mark Jason Gutter Trashman. Or how about you, Liberty Troll? Bring your ass up to Detroit and go into one of the neighborhoods in the hood here outside of a dispensary and record these folks going in and getting their weed and see what the hood treats you like. You'll be calling the police, all right, but it won't be trying to get them in trouble. It'll be you having the police protect you from having your ass beat down like the white boy that don't belong in a black neighborhood. So, peace out, folks.
Yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turn it turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a f***ing name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste me, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate me, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker